Yo, what's going on? So there are some weird things in the game that don't exactly make sense, or things that you wouldn't necessarily think of unless you're specifically looking for it. And these little things are not game breaking whatsoever, they're just kind of neat. And there's a good chance you probably know at least one, if not more of these, but my goal today is that you learn at least one new thing from this video. So let's jump right into it. Here are 10 mildly interesting facts in Old School Runescape. Starting off with the first one is that you can actually stop your cannon from rotating by opening up a chat interface. So normally when you load up a cannon, it'll keep rotating until it runs out of cannonballs or breaks, but if you open up one of these kinds of interfaces, the cannon will pause for some reason. But then as soon as you click away from the interface, the cannon will go back to rotating as normal. The next fact is that you can slice a banana with any weapon that has a blade. So this includes swords, daggers, god swords, but one very strange thing is that you can use a whip to slice a banana. And one more thing is that the bananas are the only fruit that can be sliced by bladed weapons. Alright, moving on, there are some items in the game that have the exact same sprite but are just colored differently. Like the blood rune and the water rune are exactly the same with just the center droplet thingy being a different color. And then the same thing with tuna and bass, they're the exact same thing but they're just different colors. The next fact is that you cannot alch a light source. And if you try to, then the game will tell you that you can't do that to a light source. So this includes lanterns, candles, and even the fire making skill cape, because its perk allows it to act as a light source. And then the max cape gives you the effect of every skill cape in the game, which includes the fire making skill cape perk, and because of that, it counts as a light source, meaning it cannot be alched. However, if you extinguish the light source, then you will be able to alch it. Alright, for the next one is that if you bury bones and start moving on the same tick, then your character will always start walking, and it doesn't matter whether or not your run is on. And then something else that's really weird about this is that as long as you don't stop moving, your character will keep on walking as long as you keep moving around and keep clicking around the map. Now, if you're in a free-to-play world with members' items, then you can't use shift-click to drop them. You have to drop items manually by right-clicking on them. You can still drop the regular free-to-play items like normal with shift drop, but for some reason, members' objects just don't work in a free-to-play world. Alright, this next fact is going to have Dragon Slayer 2 spoilers, so if you haven't done the quest or don't want it ruined, then skip forward to the time that you see up on screen right now. So, I have the quest Dragon Slayer 2 completed on my account, and in the quest, Bob the cat gets killed, but if you're on the Lunar Spellbook, you're able to contact him through the NPC contact spell, and you'll have a very interesting conversation with him. He starts coughing, and then your character will say, "Bob, don't die, no!" And Bob will say that everything is fine, but that he has to go, and then your character will say, "Please don't go." And Bob's last word to end the conversation is just, "Goodbye." Normally, when you use a random item on another one, you'll get the text in chat saying nothing interesting happens. However, when you try this with a fire cape, some items will give you a different message and say that doesn't seem to do what you want it to. And this works for a lot of items, and I tried this with so many different things, and I just could not figure out any sort of pattern. It seems to be completely random. And something that's even more strange is that sometimes you'll get a different message based on if you use the fire cape on the object versus using the object on the fire cape. Alright, we're getting into the extremely mildly interesting facts now. So if you have one coin in your inventory and right click it, it says coins, like Plural Coins. This game is literally unplayable. And now for the 10th and final fact is that the year 2007 is closer to the beginning of RuneScape than we currently are to 2007. Devious Mud was started in 1998 as the predecessor to RuneScape, and only 9 years later was the 2007 scape that the Old School Runescape code was taken from. The code was taken from a backup of the RuneScape code on August 10th, 2007, which means it's been over 10 years now since that backup was made. And to put this in perspective, the Evolution of Combat came out on November 20th, 2012. So one more fact that I want to throw in here is that the time between now and when Old School Runescape was released is almost to the point between when the Old School code was taken from and the release of the Evolution of Combat. So I think it's pretty crazy to see that we have this kind of alternate universe that could have been taken starting in August of 2007, but instead become what Old School is today. But that is going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope at least one thing was new for you, but if not, I still hope that you enjoyed anyways, and I just want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.